The Influence Tribe, episode number 41.
I tell people this: if Bill Gates has 24 hours, you have 24 hours. Elon Musk has 24 hours. Everybody's got 24 hours. It's how you spend that time that's really what makes the difference.
If you want success in internet marketing, you just have to follow what real internet marketers do. Right here, you're going to learn strategies, tips, and inspiring stories from up-and-coming internet marketers and current rock stars. Welcome to the Influence Tribe, presented by your hosts, Miguel Fuentes and Scott Lindstrom.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Influence Tribe show on this wonderful Friday. We want to welcome to all our viewers that are catching this on the influencetribe.com. And we also want to welcome all of our podcast listeners. So be sure, if you're getting value from these episodes, to go ahead, like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review. So before we kick things off tonight, I just got to ask, like I always do, Leland, are you ready to become a massive influencer tonight?
I'm so excited. This is a great opportunity, and I'm so excited to provide some value to you guys listening.
Right on. Leland Jones is a new guest to our show. He was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and currently resides in Anchorage, Alaska. He's a published author, so I recommend you go over to Amazon or head on over to Barnes & Nobles and pick up a copy of his book. He's been featured on television, and his primary methods for marketing and attracting leads is through Facebook ads and other social media marketing. I'm really excited to get into tonight's episode tonight, but before I do, I want to turn this over real quickly to Miguel and have him tell everybody about how you can be a part of this awesome community that's called the Influence Tribe. Miguel, how are you doing tonight? Take it away, sir.
Scott, I am exceptional, and I'm super pumped. I'm very, very excited to have our special guest tonight, Mr. Leland Jones. I actually met him just in my daily going through, talking to people and meeting new people, and we connected, and we got on the phone and talked, and he blew me away with his value. He was absolutely inspiring to me. I was like, okay, we got to get this guy on the show. I want to talk to him. I want to ask him questions about his accomplishments, because he's built a very large business at a very young age. He's done a lot of great things, and I'm super pumped to have him here tonight. But guys, before I ask him to come out here and share his story, I definitely want to remind you, if you're listening to you're watching this on the influencetribe.com, there's a big yellow button off to the side that says, yes, I'm ready to get results. Yes, I'm ready to move forward with a proven leader in a community that can help you get to where you want to go. No more messing around. Let's get serious. Let's do it. So guys, when you're ready, click that button, take your $10 test drive. We'd love to help you move forward from there. And as an additional, our Facebook group is now accessible through the influencetribe.com as well. So you can join directly from the site. So guys, much love. Thank you for being here, everybody. Leland, please come out. For those folks that don't know you, please come out and just share your story. How did you get started? I mean, I know you're 18 and you've got this very large business. Like what drove you? How did you get there?
Sure. So I don't know if it's large yet. I mean, we're getting there every day, but I started off as an entrepreneur. I mean, I was always, as a young kid, into entrepreneurship and doing some awesome things as a young kid all the way till now. And I decided, you know what, I want to turn this into a career and start my own company. And it ultimately started from the idea of putting motivational quotes on T-shirts. And then that turned into what I am now. So I do motivational speaking. My T-shirt company is doing awesome things. So we customize T-shirts. You can create your own there. You can put quotes on it or do whatever you want. And then the way we give back and really impact and provide value to the global scale is we donate 10% of all of our profits from the T-shirt company to service organizations around the United States. And we're starting to do more global outreach as well. And I had employees over in Singapore when I was living there, all over the world. And now I'm back here in the United States. My employees, a lot of them moved back over here as well. So, we're doing some awesome things, providing value however we can, whether it's through T-shirts, motivational speeches, YouTube content, Facebook pages, whatever it is. I'm out here to provide value and show people how they can find their purpose in life and really enjoy life and do what they want to do and turn it into a career and be happy with where they're at and where they can go to.
That's awesome. I have a lot of questions for you. Before we get into that, I mean, tell us about this. Tell us about your book, A Journey with Purpose. Tell us about this. Like, guys, I'm going to make y'all jealous because because I talked to Leland, I got the signed copy. I went over, you know, and I sent him a message on Instagram, and we started talking, and then I called him on the phone, and I got the signed copy. So be jealous.
Yeah, there it is.
Tell us about your book.
Yeah, so my book is A Journey with Purpose. It's a guide to starting and succeeding as an entrepreneur. The book really does a lot for you. It gives you clear tips on how to start and identify if you have no idea what you want to do in life, all right, but you know you want to do something. Well, this book will give you clear tips and advice on how you can start with nothing. It'll give you direction in life. It'll give you, if you want to find your purpose or what will wake you up in the morning, what will keep you motivated, what will give you encouragement when you're down or you face failure and obstacles and all these different things that every single entrepreneur will face. This book is a guidebook for you to go through, push through those obstacles, push through the failure, figure out what you can turn into a career and how you can make what you love doing into a career.
What tips do you have for people? Like maybe if I'm just a regular guy, you know, 9-to-5 job, but I know there's something bigger out there. What tips do you have for that person? In fact, I know some of those people that like, I'd love to do something else. I'd love to do like a fishing show or something. What advice do you have for that person?
Sure. So a lot of this is, I actually talk about this. A lot of entrepreneurs, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they want money now. They want to find they just want to start making money. And they think, oh, my 9-to-5 just isn't fulfilling, you know, my needs, my wants, or my desires. And so a big mistake they'll do is they'll just like quit their 9-to-5 and go jump into this career, this new thing, and it will fail. Like most things early on do, it'll fail, and then they'll be like, well, what do I do now? You know, I just quit my job and now I'm failing as an entrepreneur. Oh, this wasn't meant for me. But if people just take a step back, relax a little bit, keep your 9-to-5 for now, work on your side hustle, find something you love to do, whatever it is. So like say, you know, you're working your 9-to-5 as an accountant, but you really love fishing, right? And you wish you could turn fishing into your lifelong passion, career, and purpose. Well, do that on the side. You know, start a YouTube page with, you know, tips on how to catch a bass with, you know, the newest lures or whatever. Give those tips, give that content, provide the value, right? Because the more value you can provide to others, the more valuable you become. The more, you know, and do that on the side. And then once that becomes sustainable, not just through the YouTube page, go and click funnels, you know, create a course on how to catch 25 fish in 25 hours or whatever, you know, create that course, give people that content because people want it. People want this stuff. And if a lot of people have the ability to do it, but they just don't know, they don't have the tools, the resources, or the know-how. But once you figure it out, once you can create that value for people and it becomes sustainable, then you can fire your boss, as people like to say. So, so you can, then you quit the job but you know, keep that balance. Like if you work 9-to-5 and, you know, at 5 o'clock till say 10 PM, that gives you 5 hours to be working on whatever it is. You can still get to sleep at a good time and still be up at 9 to go to work. So, you know, even if you stay awake till like 2 AM, you know, and you're working those good hours and then you go to bed at 2, you still got 7 hours till you got to be at work. So you know, I tell people this, if Bill Gates has 24 hours, you have 24 hours, Elon Musk has 24 hours, everybody's got 24 hours. It's how you spend that time that's really what makes the difference.
Awesome. Outside of your passion, do you consider like personal development, like creating a DMO? Where does that all fit in with this plan?
Absolutely. So I think personal development has to be a habit, something you do constantly and daily. So whether it's reading books on your purpose or your passion or what you love to do, reading books, staying educated, watching videos, listening to podcasts, radios, things that, you know, fill your brain with the information that you need to continue your passion and purpose. I heard this the other day. I heard someone said that books can solve every problem in the world. If you read books, it can solve every problem in the world. But the good news is for you, you don't have every problem in the world. You have your problems. You have the things you want to focus on. So if you read the books and you understand the content that relates to your issues, your understanding, your passion, that's where you can make the difference. So people come up to me often, they say, oh, you know, I want to be successful. I want to do these things, but, you know, I don't know where to start. Well, you got to first identify your purpose, start pursuing your passion with the thing you love to do, and then developing that, getting content from in today's world, it's incredible where you can get content from. It's at everybody's fingertips, and it's free most of the cases. And it's just so much that I don't see why not everybody's doing this. So.
Right. Absolutely. This one's a bit of a personal question. Has your age ever counted against you on your journey? Because I know that has had to come up before. Like, who is this kid who's going to tell me something? How have you handled that one?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite questions, actually, because because it happens to me all the time. If I call up a radio station or something and I'm like, hey, I'd love to come provide value to your listeners, I'd love to come share a little story. They're like, oh yeah, tell me about yourself. And I'm like, okay, I'm the CEO of my own company. I'm the author of my new book. I'm the owner of my company, Multi Motivation. I've gotten to speak internationally around the world. I've gotten to impact thousands of people. I tell them that, and then they're like, and then I say, oh, and I'm only 18 years old, hoping that they're like, oh, that's the story, right? Like, oh, that's cool. Like an 18-year-old's doing all this stuff. But then, half the time they're like, oh, you're 18. Yeah, you don't know what a purpose is, or you don't know what it's. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they're like, thanks for calling, but no. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, but 50% of the time it works out, and I do get those opportunities, and I do get those chances, and then they get to eat their words later. So
Awesome.
But yeah, absolutely. I do think, I absolutely believe that age is just a number. I don't think that should stop anybody from pursuing their passions. And actually, I'm only 18 years old, but I even say that I wish I started earlier. I really do. And because the reason is I've hung out, some of my mentors are older or more well-seasoned entrepreneurs. And, they tell me like, man, I wish I started at your age. I didn't start till I was in my 30s or my late 30s and 40s. And, I wish I started when I was your age, because I could have had such a bigger impact. And that's why I love, going to schools and talking to teenagers and showing them that, age is just a number. And if you want to have that impact, start now. Like, the best day to start is today. The next best day to start is tomorrow. So
how did you discover your purpose? Or was it always there? Because I know you've had to have stumbled into it at some point, even when you were in the very beginning. You're like, what are we doing with this business?
Right. Yeah, I actually would say about a year ago was I saw this diagram created by Stanford. It was called the Purpose Diagram. And it was a Venn diagram with 4 circles. And in the middle, it said, if you have these 4 things, like the middle piece is your purpose. And so the 4 questions were, what do you like to do? What can you make money doing? And how can you give back to the world? And so I was playing with that for a little while. I played with that for about 4 weeks to about 2 months. I was playing with that, and I was like, you know what? I can make this even simpler. Just make it 3 columns, 3 questions. What do you like to do and good at? What can you make money doing that you're willing to do? And what value can you provide to others? And so I broke it into 3 columns, and I spent months on that thing. I spent, because I feel like you owe it to yourself. If you want to find out what your purpose is in life, that's one of the most key things. That's like discovering why something exists. Like, if you want to find out the purpose of a pencil, well, it's simple, right? It's to write things. If you want to find out the purpose, like what you want to do with your life, then I think you really honestly owe it to yourself to take the time and figure out what it is. So I did that. I took the time and I wrote out an extensive list. It was like 45 plus things. It took me about 3 to 6 months to write it all out and get it all out on paper. So what do I like to do and what am I good at? It was all kinds of things, from playing guitar to public speaking. And so I wrote out all those things. Okay, what am I willing to do to make money? And that was everything from mowing lawns to cat sitting to leadership, teaching leadership skills, influencing people, helping other people. And then how can you give back to the world? The one thing and that's what really makes it a purpose, right? That's what makes it a purpose, is what value can you provide to the world? And I asked myself that, and it was by showing other people that if they chase their dreams, and then they can do it too.
Are you getting tons of value?
Yeah!
See, we told you. Be sure to head over to iTunes to like and subscribe. The Influence Tribe.
I was like, why don't other kids, teens my age do this? And so I decided, I'm going to show them that they can. I'm going to show them the skills and show them the insider information that they might not get until they're in their 30s. Things like goal setting and how to set goals. What are primary goals? What's a vision? How do you get to your vision? How do you set the goals to get to that vision? How do you communicate well? How can you sell things? So I've been, speaking to schools, and I'm actually starting to create a couple programs that I'm going to show to people that they can go through a couple courses that I'm creating that show them leadership and character skills, show them how to make money as a teenager, all kinds of cool stuff coming up. So
what advice do you have for new and maybe struggling entrepreneurs, those folks that need a bit of a hand, bit of a lift?
If you're just starting out and you're a new entrepreneur, one of the best tips I can have for you is really define what it is you're doing, understand your customer, understand yourself, continue your personal development, and do not be worried when you encounter obstacles. And so then for those that are in those situations and they're encountering those struggles, whether it's, and there's all kinds of things that you will encounter as an entrepreneur, such as, haters and naysayers. You'll have financial issues. You'll have all kinds of obstacles that will hold you back from continuing what you have to do or what you want to do, and things that'll hold you back. So my advice for that is continue being creative, because every entrepreneur I know has an element of creativity to them. I mean, that's why you're an entrepreneur. So continue being creative, and don't stop. All right. Don't stop. The moment you fail, you automatically lose the game. All right. The moment you quit putting your next foot forward, whether, I was talking to a guy, I heard a quote somewhere, and this guy was really struggling with his company. He was trying to build a company. He was like, man, I'm ready to give up. I'm just ready to quit. All I could think about was this quote, and I kind of paraphrased that. I didn't really get it right, but it was run, walk, or crawl, but don't stop moving. No matter how difficult the things get, if it's a true passion, you're not going to give up on it, right? If you absolutely love fishing, no matter how many haters you get, no matter how many fish you don't catch, you're going to keep doing it because you love it so much, right? And so it's the same thing in your company, in your business, or whatever it is. No matter how many people are saying, nah, there's no way you're going to succeed, or, your product is garbage, or whatever it is, take their advice. What you do with it is up to you. Just don't give up. Just don't quit.
How do you find the best advice?
The best advice, like I said, it ties back to personal development. It's, from other motivational speakers inspire me, such as Tony Robbins, the legend, old guys like Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn, newer guys that are stepping it up in the game like Eric Thomas. He's a legend. Another kid, he is a kid and he's killing it. His name's Caleb Maddox. He's a great inspiration. Yep. Actually, I'm reading one of his books right now. He's a total legend. And actually, I'm getting personally mentored from him in one of his programs. So that's pretty cool. So where I get my advice and inspiration is from guys like that, and also from, I think, history, or is one of my past speeches. I learn from feedback from the audience members. I hand out feedback forms, so I get advice there, and mentors. My mentors have been huge in my life. One of them, his name's TC. I call him TC. His name's Theo Christensen, absolute legend. He's taught me a lot about business and marketing and strategies there. And when I had no idea what I was doing, he was there to provide me with the tips. And most entrepreneurs, you'll start out with absolutely no idea what the heck you're doing, but you learn it. And as long as you're continuing that personal development and growth, then you'll eventually you'll get there. You'll succeed. You'll start seeing benchmarks become reality.
And Leland, in the beginning, we all struggle in our entrepreneurial journey with give us something you had to overcome early in your business to succeed.
I'll take an example out of my book here. There was a point where it's a t-shirt company, right? And I was living overseas, and I give a tip of advice. I say, you need to adapt, you need to accept, and you need to win. Like, you just need to accept things as they are. So like when you face bad situations, accept it and move on. Like, you got to accept it and adapt to it and then overcome it. So this particular instance that I was referring to that happened in my book was, I was living in Singapore and we were shipping t-shirts through to the United States. One of our suppliers at the time was in the Philippines, and we weren't able to ship out the t-shirts from the Philippines unless we had this trade agreement between the countries. And we were like, well, all right, we're going to have to figure this one out. So we looked it up. We were like, okay, so what do we have to do to get this trade agreement? and it was really expensive, and we were a brand new company. So we did not have the money to pay for that license to do international trading and shipping. So we were like, well, how are we gonna handle this situation? So we found a different supplier in each location. So, we said, okay, we got to find some people in the United States that will supply the t-shirts. We got to find people in Singapore that will supply the t-shirts. We adapted to that, and we accepted it and moved on. And, that was just one of the smaller examples that I can think of from the clothing company. For my multi-motivation company, in the public speaking and influencing and mentorship, all that, I'd say age has been quite a barrier to overcome. But like I said, accept it, adapt to it, and move on. I've never been, I've called countless schools and they've said, oh yeah, okay, yeah, right. And then they brush it off their shoulder and they're like, whatever. And they never contact me again. But I call that one school and they're like, oh yeah, we'd love to have you come out. Let's meet in person. And I'm like, okay, great. So then I can go there in person, actually meet them and talk to them, have that conversation, give them a copy of my book, show them that I'm the real deal, show them that I know what I'm talking about and the value that I can provide to their students. And every time I've met with somebody in person and gotten that foot in the door, it's been a great experience for the people that have participated. I've gotten great feedback. I've gotten to influence hundreds and almost thousands of lives. And I aim by 21, I want to impact at least 1 million lives. And if not sooner than 21, and I'm doing things like that through podcasts, radio, television, going to schools, cold calling schools, So like just this week, I'm going to be speaking or not this week, but later. I just talked to a guy this week. He's letting me speak at his school for 1,600 students. So it's great opportunities that just come up like that. And you never have to give up. You have to keep accepting that not everybody's going to like this 18-year-old entrepreneur dude coming to their school and talking to their students. Not every TV radio show is going to want this kid who doesn't know anything. And that's just what it is. And so it's been an obstacle, but accept it, adapt to it, and overcome it.
Can you give us one of the proudest moments that you've had so far in your entrepreneurial journey?
Sure. So I'd say one of my most recent proud accomplishments, because I remember writing this goal out for the longest time, was get on television. So just last week, I was able to get that opportunity. And now yesterday I had another TV interview, and next week I'm going to have another TV interview. So it's like, once it happened, it was like, whoa, that was cool. Like, I wrote out the goal and it happened, and then, so I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. Other ones like writing my book, that was a really great accomplishment. I was happy with that. I was proud of it. When I actually held it for the first time, I was like, that's awesome.
Yes.
I opened it, I smelled it, and I was like, oh yes, this is great. So that's also some proud things that I'm excited for. But the thing that makes me the most proud, to be completely honest with you, is when people call me. Like, I had this guy call me the other day. He was telling me like how excited he is that, I'm doing what I'm doing. He pulled his kids out of school to show them that, don't worry about that traditional school system. He's showing his own kids through me, like he's using me as his motivator for his kids, that if you want something bad enough in your life and you put in the hard work and you make the effort to do what you want to do in life, then you can succeed and achieve your own destiny. And so things like that, when people call me and contact me, or people reference my book, or people put my quotes up on their other Instagram accounts, like those little things, like they keep me motivated. It's like, okay, I'm having an impact in their life. And that's really what it is for me. It's the impact. I want to have that impact in people's lives and really show them that your destiny is your destiny. Like it's your plane and you're the pilot, and you got to take control of it.
You're definitely in the right place, Leland. We have every guest we've had on this show that's now on our podcast. Their recordings are all on our podcast. We caught them at a time when they were rising in their businesses, when they were rising in the industry. A lot, probably all of them have gone on to do very large and big things. We've watched their careers from the beginning just go skyrocketing. So you're in the right place. I'm excited to see where you're going to go. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on you for sure.
Speaking of quotes, can you give us one or two of your favorite ones?
Sure. Okay. So I'll give you one of my favorite quotes. It's one of my quotes, so it's got to be my favorite. It is the more value that you provide in others' lives, the more valuable you become. And what I mean by that is, if you're providing value, right? If people are coming to you, they want your services, serve them. Don't sell something to them. Serve them. Give them what they need. Give them not what you want. Don't worry about the money. The impact always comes over income. And another one of my favorite quotes is from Caleb Maddox. He said, "I'd rather master my craft than have a master degree." Now, I'm not trying to discourage people from going to college or pursuing educational careers, but and as a matter of fact, like I'm a student in college, full-time student, so I'm doing that as well. But I love the idea that you don't need to have an education, especially as an entrepreneur. Like I don't mean no education, like an official degree. Like you don't need that to be a master of your craft. If you master your craft, then you don't need necessarily a master's degree.
We're talking about habits as entrepreneurs. Can you give us the one habit that you can attribute to what's helped you become successful?
Sure. So there's, and this goes for literally every single entrepreneur I've ever seen ever has this characteristic, and that is tenacity. There's one characteristic that they have, or personal development. That's a better one. I'm going to talk on that one. They have tenacity, and they have a habit of personal development. Okay. I've never seen any entrepreneur that's massively successful not constantly, like they're always up before 6 a.m. They're always learning things. They're always developing. They're either writing their own books or creating their own content. But if you want to write a book, you got to read and you got to write and you got to develop yourself, right? It's personal development has to be the number one habit. And I think that's extremely valuable, that if the sooner people can understand that if you want a successful career, you got to be addicted to personal development. You got to create that habit, and you'll see, like, the better you become, the better your career becomes, the better the people around you become, the better your community becomes, your state, the world, so, but it all starts with you.
I noticed that you have a lot of books there behind you, it looks like. Leaders are readers, so they say. So give us one or two of the books that you would recommend that you've read in the last 6 months.
Sure. So actually, these are all the books I'm reading currently. So my shipment from Singapore it's coming in, but I have some books over there still but currently I'm reading one of my favorites so far. Is this one, .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. This is an absolute awesome book. Just in the first few chapters, you're like, oh, this is amazing. It'll change your career. I saw this little campaign, or I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's giving away his free book, the Millionaire Booklet from Grant Cardone. So this thing's awesome. He's giving it away for free. You just pay for shipping. So
I just want to say it's amazing that Grant Cardone made it onto this show.
He's been on this show. That's awesome.
No, we just talked about him. So it's amazing that he's,
gotcha.
Because I know one of his goals is to be known by, you've heard his master goal.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So but this is awesome. I've only just started reading it like today. It just came in the mail the other day. But it's really good. I mean, I'll just read out some of the chapter titles. So it's like 40 pages. It's super small, but I mean, it'll provide tremendous value. It's like getting rich is not a fantasy. So like, it's not like reaching the moon. It's actually something tangible, where you get your advice, the millionaire decision, the millionaire math, all kinds of great advice in this thing. So it's so small. It's like 40 pages. It's cool. So I recommend that. And, a really good book is A Journey with Purpose, if I must say, like some shameless advertising there. So, but so those are some books I'm reading. I have another one. This one, I actually met him in person, so he's totally awesome. His name's Steve Repack. He's a certified financial planner. It's called the 6-Week Money Challenge, so I'll give him a little shout out here. Go check that out. That's pretty cool. It's a good book. It shows you in 6 weeks how you can better your finances. And he was a military vet who went from being massively in debt to now providing value to multi-million-dollar people, and great story. So check him out, Steve Repack.
Leland, can you share with us a moment in your business that you were struggling and then you had an aha moment, that moment where the light bulb goes off and everything starts to click for you? What was that for you?
So I'd have to say, for my motivational speaking career, there was a point in time where I truly believed like there's no way this is going to take off. There's, nobody wants to listen to me. I'm not going to be as cool as, Caleb Maddox or whatever. I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a motivational speech, and I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to do a leadership seminar, and whoever shows up, I want to provide a day's worth of value to them, and I'm just going to put it out there. The aha moment was that leadership conference. It was that seminar. So I went first. I did that speech at a school, and I talked about vision and values, and how if you have this great vision, you got to match it with the values. Like, do you value sleep or do you value studying? Like, if your vision is to be the best student, what do you value? So I talked about that. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this leadership seminar. Hopefully it turns out like 15, 20 people showed up. But during that course, the feedback that I got from everybody, the reactions that everybody did after hours of being in one room, learning these, I had a series of presentations. I had videos of other motivational speakers, all kinds of good stuff. I was giving leadership skills. I was giving all kinds of purposeful content, how to find your purpose. And that was before my book came out. My aha moment was the reactions I got after it. Everybody in that room came up to me afterwards. Like, they were like in a single file line wanting to talk to me afterwards, like, and ask their personal questions, want more. And they were begging for more content. And I was like, maybe I'm onto something here. You know what? Like, I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to turn this into different courses. I'm going to elaborate on these courses, make more courses out of it. I'm going to publish my book. I'm going to get my book out there. I'm going to spread my message to a wider audience. And, I may not be able to impact, the people that are naysayers or the people that think I'm up to no, or, they think I'm just some average teenager, which at the time, people were like, oh yeah, you're not doing anything cool. You just own a t-shirt business. And at the time I felt like it was a little bit true, but then I was like, you know what? I know what I have in my head. I know where I want to be. So I'm going to push through. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it a reality. And I said, you know what? Enough excuses. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to start doing it. And once I had that aha moment, once people started showing me that I was actually impacting their lives, I said, I got to bring this to a global scale. I got to impact more people and help more people chase their dreams, chase their passions, and find ultimately their purpose, because that's what unlocks happiness for life.
Miguel, I'm going to turn this back over to you. Do you have any final thoughts or questions for Leland before we wrap this up?
I don't. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us tonight. Leland, I'm so very grateful that you were able to be here and just share your value. It's obvious. Like I said, the time we spent talking on the phone, I was like, holy cow, this guy's for real. I think I have to book him. And I don't think he was expecting me to call either. So, yeah.
I appreciate it. No, that really means a lot. And it's been my pleasure being on the show.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody that's watching this on theinfluencetribe.com, make sure that you join our Facebook group. There's a giant button on the page. You can't miss it. And also, when you're ready to run with a proven leader, you're ready to get some more results in your business with the right tools, the right training, with the right person that can guide you, click the big yellow button that says, yes, I'm ready to get results. Take your 10-day test drive. Let's rock and roll this thing. So, Scott, that's all I want to say. Go ahead.
Leland, do you got any final parting words to our audience, or words of wisdom or best advice, and how can they get in contact with you?
Sure. My last piece of advice to anybody listening is take the time that you owe yourself to find out what your purpose is in life. And if you get a copy of my book, in the back of it, there's a special email specifically for the people that read the book. So you can contact me there if you get a copy. If not, you can find me at any of my websites. You can go to multimotivation.com. You can go find me on social media at the Leland Jones on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And go ahead and drop me a message. And one of my goals is to talk to every single person that reaches out to me. So if you reach out to me, I'll make an effort to get back to you if you reach out.
I want to say thanks, Leland, for coming on today. You have been a massive influencer, so we appreciate you and your time.
Appreciate it. It's been my pleasure.
Folks, you are the product of the 5 closest people you hang out with, and tonight you've been hanging out with Leland Jones. I want to thank you again, Leland. God bless you and good night.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you for joining us today at the Influence Tribe. All right, here's what you got to do. Run. Don't walk over to theinfluencedrive.net for recaps of every show, training, and helpful resources. Make no mistake, your internet marketing success is waiting for you. Head to the website and prepare yourself to become a massive influencer.